I have a Chinese client. He came to Ghana to do galamsey. He said it was too risky. He stopped. He went to a bank. He got a loan. And he's raking in 4 million cedis a month.
What is he doing?
Somewhere 2020. I remember every one of our clients, we were invoicing around $80,000. Somewhere
Wow.
2022, yeah, to send out.
Per month?
A month, yeah.
One thing I've come to learn is that people who make it gets to a point where you decide that, okay, you have to put everything.
Yeah.
This is not a side hustle.
Yeah.
This is my life. I'm putting everything on it.
It wasn't just my life, my family's life. I would rather prefer, I can go to the US and come. You stay here.
I prefer to be here.
Get as much money as you can and then make it.
Hello everybody, welcome to Thrive in Africa podcast on Eqay Inspire YouTube channel. Today I'm with a fantastic young man who studied a bachelor's degree in disability and rehabilitation studies at KNUST and is now a tech expert. And when I say a tech expert, a co-founder of a tech company in Ghana, which is now a multinational company. Last I checked, I saw an article in 2021 that says they were making $10,000 a month in Ghana here. What is his story? How was he able to do this? And he started without even knowing how to code. What is this story and what can we learn from his life story? Come with me as I introduce you to Mr. Frank Kwesi Botwey.
All right, thank you very much.
Welcome to Eqay Inspire.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Wow, it's a great honor to have you.
Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, so tell me how the journey started from school when you were at KNUST. How did that entrepreneurial spirit grow in you, and then how did we get here?
All right, great. So, like you know, my name is Frank Kwesi Botwey. I grew up in Accra, Dansuman. Normal private school to Adisadel College, one of the best schools in the country. Not necessarily one of the best, but I mean the best school in the country.
Oh, okay.
And then, then from Adisadel, I proceeded to KNUST to study BSc Disability and Rehabilitation Studies, another School of Medical Sciences, just like you mentioned. Now, my journey with entrepreneurship started out, say, from way back.
Okay.
Maybe somewhere primary school.
I see.
Whereby sometimes I remember I used to sell toffees. We used to sell market equipment. We take market equipment from other people's market and then we sell it to other people who needed it during exams time. There were so many petty business, so let me say petty trading stuff we did while growing up. I remember selling bicycles at some point, and we're not doing it for the money. It was just for the fun of it. Just loving to make an interest or profit on something. I don't know. It just made us happy. Now, but I think I don't recall anything serious I did in high school that has to do with business. Maybe it would just be a couple of textbooks, but I don't recall anything serious. But being in the university was where I realized I had a passion for entrepreneurship. It started with me being a member of, it was then SIFE, Students in Free Enterprise, a student organization, which later changed its name to Enactus.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I see.
So I think I should believe I was one of the youngest executives Enactus KNUST had. I think at the end of the first year, I was made, I got a privilege to be made the vice president of projects. That's by the end of first year, which was a position mostly for second year students. I was quite active. Enactus is entrepreneurial action in us. That's the full meaning of Enactus. And then it was more of identifying problems in the society and coming up with economic ways of solving those problems, whereby you have to make profits, you have to impact people, and then it has to be good to the planet, the community. So I was made vice president for projects by my end of first year. And then talking to people in the industry space, in the corporate space, talking to rural people. I developed this need of making an impact in people's life. It was a burning desire for me. And I always felt we as Africans are the only ones that can solve our own problems. And then if everybody plays a role in their individual space on their small corner, with time, we can build the Africa we want, or we can pave way for others to see the Africa we've always dreamed about. So that has been my motivation for this space. And then I hope I'll be able to make some impact someday.
Wow. I know you're making a lot of impact already. So
we're trying.
We'll get to that. Wow. Okay. So Enactus was where I met you for the first time, and you were the president at that time. Yeah. So how did you transition from that into becoming an entrepreneur after school?
Okay, so I always saw entrepreneurship as far off, but I had a burning desire to do it. Like, I mean, when I say entrepreneurship, I mean identifying the problem and starting a business out of it. I always thought to be far off, but I felt there was a burning desire to do it. So after school, I worked in the health space for some time, I think for a year. Then I later moved to the social space. I worked with an NGO,
Okay.
focused on disability and rehabilitation stuff.
Okay.
I was there for I think about a year or two. And whilst I was there, I was trying something on my own, trying to see if we could prepare students for the corporate industry. So we were organizing career focus programs for various schools. I think we did a couple at UPSA, we did a couple in Legon,
Okay.
King's University, Regent. I think I did one. I came back to do one in KNUST, and then we did a couple of career programs just to prepare students for the career world. Because I feel like most students were not prepared. We had this exuberance and drive that probably after school I'm going to get a job or something. Well, probably because I'm good, I'm smart, I'm going to get a job. But when you come out, your smartness doesn't really matter. How good you were in school doesn't really matter. There are so many factors that play a role in you getting a job or you starting something. So I got to realize people need to hear other people's story to be able to learn from, and then when they come out, they know, okay, this person tried this. Once you have some stories that are factual, you're hearing it from the direct source. It helps in guiding the decisions you make. So we did a couple. Was quite impactful. I think I met a lot of people. Then from there, but I was still working. From there, I realized a need whereby most of these people wanted internships.
Okay.
So it was something we started minutely in school with a friend, Foster Kugri. I don't know if you know him.
I don't think so.
Okay, his Foster is also quite well known. So we started quite minutely in school, but I realized a lot of people needed internship. But then Foster was in school, I was in Accra. So I created some opportunities. I started it on subtly, something small, just to help some students get internship opportunities. Within 3 months, we had placed about 120 people.
Oh, wow.
We got some small money out of it.
Oh, wow.
And then I think we were charging about 50 cedis then. So you can multiply. Let's say 50 times even 100. That's about 5,000.
Okay.
Yes.
This was like right after National Service.
No. That was somewhere 2018.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 2018. Yeah, I think somewhere 2018.
I see.
Yeah. So after service, I did a service in the health space. Then I moved into the NGO for 2 years. Then after, yeah. So we started that, and then later on, I think after the student internships, I realized there were graduates who also applied for the internships that wanted these opportunities. They wanted to get some working experience before they start their national service. They just didn't want to be home. So we created something we call a graduate internship program. And then we had a lot of students applying for it, a lot of graduates applying for it. I think we received over 300 applications.
Wow.
And we didn't even advertise, funny enough. It was just on WhatsApp.
Oh, really?
Yes. So that was the journey. So this is how it began. I saw somebody invite people to a party using Google Maps, Google Docs. And then I was like, I didn't have an idea about Google Docs. I was like, Google Forms, sorry.
Yeah, Google Forms,
yes.
Okay.
So I was like, So I opened it. It was a party invitation. So if you're coming for the party, fill this form. I opened it, I saw it. I was like, this is interesting. If you can use this for party invitation, that means it could be a registration form. So if it could be a registration form, then you can create something similar and then invite other people. So I think we did. I had to go and learn it. There were so many stories around that.
I see.
But we'll go there. So that's how we created our Google form, broadcasted it on WhatsApp. People sent it, people shared it.
Okay.
We had about 300 applications for the graduate internship program. We managed to place a couple. I wouldn't remember the total because the graduate internship stayed for a longer time.
Okay.
Yeah. So we stayed, we placed people. So it was becoming a business.
Okay.
Because now people were paying after they were placed.
Okay. So which means you already had links to some companies?
Some companies, yes. I had friends in the corporate sector.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was more or less becoming like a business. And some of my friends were recommending me to other organizations for interns. So eventually we realized it was moving from graduate internships to jobs. People wanted real jobs. So people who we had placed now wanted real jobs. The companies wanted to hire people.
Okay.
So we begin with full-time entry-level jobs, and then it caught fire. Same, some of the companies we were working with also requested for executive roles, if we could help them find some executive roles.
Okay.
And then it caught fire from there too. So it was something that didn't seem like it was going to stop. You get it? So one day I sat back. I sat back and then I asked myself, what problem are we solving? You get it? And then if we're going to solve this problem, how are we going to solve it better? Or how can we revolutionize it? So I realized that, one, most of these companies, there was a need for an HR technology, for employee management, for employee financing, anything that has to do with employee management or HR, the human resource management or human capital management. And then also I realized that so many people need jobs, especially in our country. But the approach to how they're going to get the jobs was a problem. So we decided to come up with a solution for that. And
so when you say approach was a problem, like what are you talking about? Is it that they don't know how to write CVs, or what were the challenges people were facing?
So majority, let me say, that time I wouldn't be able to say this from facts. I mean statistics. That's what I mean. But I think majority of people had their CV done haphazardly. Now sometimes you see the CVs and it was like the person who was being lackadaisical in writing the CV is like they were being forced to get something done. So they just put some 1 or 2, 3 things together and then they just leave. Hey, that's my CV. And then also the channels we were using to apply. So you see an application and then the application says probably fill in this form to apply, and then you end up people calling can you send me a WhatsApp number to send my CV to? You get what I mean? And then those are put off for some organizations because my instructions are clear. And then you want to bypass the instructions to do something else or something that you want. Some people too, the way they sent their emails was wrong. I remember somebody writing the whole email in the subject area of the email. So we saw a lot of experiences when we're doing that. So it created a need in me to create a business or create a program or project, something, to be able to educate people and train people and, let me say, create some awareness of how the whole job application process goes through. Some CVs were not also ATS friendly, and I think it was at the time that most companies were adopting to applicant tracking systems. So your CV had to be ATS friendly, and then most people were not aware of some of what it means. Actually, most people were not even aware of how some of these big organizations adopt and use the ATS systems. So we created. So it was a desire in me to help people, train people, or create that awareness. Any which way I'm going to use to create that awareness, we do that, and then we get at least impact some lives. Before we finally leave Earth.
I see. Wow. So that was how it started, and then you now went full-time
business.
How did you start full-time and we started recruiting people? And
so it's actually funny. So we were in Ghana, we were here, we got my co-founder Andy Young. He is way younger. He was in school. I just asked him to help, and then he loved the idea. So in Ghana, he got an invitation to apply for the African Leadership University in Rwanda, and then he took advantage of it. He applied, he got it. So he moved to Rwanda, and then we started Wekplace there. Now we had students in Rwanda who wanted to come do their internship here in Ghana. That's they didn't have the avenue. Who are they going to talk to? How are they going to do it? So Andy reached out. We had a discussion with the school, and then they were open for that. So we started. I always say this thing. We started online interviews way before COVID came. So back then we were using Skype for the interviews. So we set up Skype. We shared a link with you. It sounded weird actually to tell somebody, okay, we're going to have an interview online. Back then, but there was something that was the option for us. And gracefully to the African Leadership University is organized such a way that they adopt technologies in most of the stuff we do. So the students were quite confident with the approach we took. So we got a couple of students from Rwanda to come do their internships in Ghana, and we got an investor. We met somebody, he's an investor though, but I would prefer to call him like a co-founder actually. So he showed interest in the concept and then decided to push some money
Okay.
That's
Okay, wait.
yeah.
I want to understand how like the monetary side was working at the time, because you mentioned earlier that you got about you charged about 50
50 cities,
cedis,
yeah.
yeah, per person. Is that how it kept going? Like
No, no,
everybody
no, no,
would.
no, no, no. So the 50 was at the start. So
Okay.
later, I think we changed the 50 to 100 for the students.
Okay.
And then the graduates, I think it went to the last time, I think it was around 300 or so, 300 or 200 or so.
Okay.
And then the for the full time, it was we were charging the companies.
Oh,
So it
okay.
was mostly dependent on the agreement we had
All
with the
right.
company.
Okay.
And then for different, we had a service charge for different spaces.
Okay. Okay.
And then, yeah, we took from
Okay,
there.
I'm asking because like getting monetizing something from the start is very
It's
challenging.
quite complex, trust
Yeah,
me.
because this you are now starting out, and how do they even trust you to get to deliver every time and all that?
So
So, mhm,
for me, trust me, it was complex because I was the corporate side I was dealing with friends who were going to make referrals, and they felt like most of them felt like, oh, Frank is my friend,
Yes.
I don't have to pay for this
Yes.
service. And then moreover, it was more like they were doing me favors. You
Okay.
get what I mean? So it was difficult asking them to pay for something.
Yeah.
They don't have an agreement with my company. In fact, it wasn't even a real company. So
Yeah.
why are you
Exactly.
asking me to pay for
Exactly.
this? And then also from the student side, we didn't want to start anything that would look messy with time. Because one day I had this thought actually that the employment space is an industry that can last for a long time. Because no matter what, people are going to be hired, people are going to be working. So we can always develop services or applications or systems within the space.
Okay.
So we wanted to build something that it wouldn't tag us negatively with time. So it was quite difficult asking the students to pay at the beginning. So what we did was I remember my first charge when one of the companies asked that we bring 3 interns. That was the first request we had.
Okay.
And then taking the money from the applicants was quite complex.
Okay.
So I organized them, I met them, we sent them to the company, they had an interview with the company selected them, asked them to start. Then I asked them to make the payment to the receptionist.
That's brilliant.
Yeah. And then so later I went for my money, and then so we kept it, some of them that way. Some of them paid with time, some of them paid to us directly, and some of them also paid to the receptionist.
Okay.
So we had good relationship with almost all the companies we've been with, even till now. Receptionists are people I take very serious.
Oh, okay.
Because they before you meet the director of a company, is the receptionist that's gonna allow you.
True.
Yeah.
True.
So we created good relationships with almost all the receptionists we knew, and then they were our money collectors for us at the beginning. Okay. But some people also paid to us directly. I mean, for the referrals and stuff, most people preferred paying to us directly. Okay. So with time, then when we created the company, so I think August 2019. Okay. After we had placed the students from Rwanda, that was when we registered and created a real company. Okay. Out of it.
Okay, 2019.
Yes.
Wow.
And then, but it was still messy a little bit. Okay. So yeah, so with that, they were paying directly to us. Okay. We had a bank account. Okay. Yeah.
So at that time that you decided to register the company, is it that you were making enough to live on, or you were still doing something on the side to support?
No. That was my full time. So I tried a couple. I did a couple of business. I had passion for planting stuff when I was growing up. And I don't know for other cultures, but in our Ghanaian culture, when you're doing something, let's say you like animals. Oh, maybe you're a Greek. Maybe you're good with science. Oh, you're a doctor. Yeah. You get that kind of vibe. So I thought I had a passion for agric back then. So after I went into honey production, mushroom, and then I made some small money from the NGO.
Tilapia, I heard you.
Tilapia, yes. Okay. Went into agric, failed miserably, extremely terribly.
Oh, Charlie.
So we got dead broke. I mean, when I say dead broke, I mean like dead broke.
I see.
So from there, and luckily for me, the HR space, the employment space was a service we were delivering. It wasn't products we were trying to sell. Okay. So it was quite easier because service is capital, it is not capital intensive. So it was quite easier. I deliver the service, you pay me. And then mostly, if I need to buy something, you pay for it. You get it? So all I needed was my time and then my expertise. Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah.
That's interesting.
It got safer.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in 2019, you got registered.
Yeah.
And then, so how long after that did you get the investor that you were talking about, the
So,
co-founder investor?
yeah. So the investor was with us before we even registered.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But after then, he had not invested. So we used our own money, registered a company, went through the process and everything.
All right.
So we agreed on, back then, I think it was $50,000.
Okay.
But they had some metrics, some milestones, sorry.
All right.
That we had to achieve. So we were never able to, I think 2020 COVID came.
Yes.
So we were supposed to achieve those milestones. So I think the first badge was 1,000, 2,000. I think 1,000. There were 1,000, 2,000, 2,000 or something. There was the first 5,000. Then after.
Do you mean
$5,000?
Okay, dollars.
Yeah. So we had to place about 300 people in total within the first mid-year. We had to do about 500 placements.
Oh, okay.
To be able to unlock $5,000.
Nice. That's a smart investor.
And we were never able to do that. Funny enough.
Wow.
Yeah. So COVID came. Ghanaians were not interested in the online interview space. It looks weird or something. To tell somebody, come online, let me interview you. Except the people who were in bigger corporate spaces, who got to understand. Most of them adopted this Microsoft Teams and stuff to work with, Google Meet and rest. So it was quite easier working with those who had a working experience.
All right.
But for the new graduates, it was tough.
Okay. But before we even go into that, I want to know what convinced this investor to promise at least $50,000.
So we were making revenue.
Oh, okay.
Without registration.
Okay.
As a side business.
Okay.
We're still making revenue. Now, revenue was not that bad.
Okay.
It wasn't the best, but it wasn't that bad. I mean, for a side business, it wasn't that bad. But sometimes we could hit, I think, sometimes we could hit even 5,000 a month, 6,000, 10,000 cities a month.
Okay.
Yeah. It wasn't bad.
All right.
To be frank with you.
Okay.
But just that when you pay off a couple of expenses, you are just left with small.
Okay.
Other times, so the funny thing is, when we were running it as a side business, it looked lucrative. But then when we registered to run as a business, you get it. That was when the challenges came.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So as a business now, we had to issue VAT invoices. Companies would now cut off part of the money as withholding tax.
Interesting.
And then we had to invest in technologies. We had to buy stuff. We had to invest in people, hiring people. Okay. Back then, it was just our small thing we were doing on the side, you know. Exactly. But now we had to hire people. It became complex.
Okay.
Now and because we're new entrepreneurs, the focus now changed. So now we wanted to build a better brand instead of focusing on the service delivery. Okay. You get it? So we were focusing on people getting to know us more. Okay. But people getting to know you doesn't bring the money.
That's
you get what I mean? So the quality for our service delivery, to be frank, went down.
Okay. To be frank.
Yeah.
Nice.
It went down, and then it was quite complex, and we were not trying to understand. You know, once you have a target on YouTube, already you don't know what you're doing, right? You have limited idea about what you're doing, and then now you have a target. It makes it quite complex.
Okay.
Yeah. So
and the pressure.
So, you get what I mean?
So you were not able to meet that target.
No, we never met that target at that time.
So what happened to the agreements you had with
him? We still maintained him. We still liked the zeal, the fact that we still kept the business going.
Okay.
We never gave up. Trust me, COVID time was worse. Because some of the companies were not hiring. We couldn't do the interviews like we wanted. Later on, some of the companies started hiring. But there are so many companies like us. Back then, it began to look like a regular recruitment agency. We couldn't even focus on the tech.
Okay.
Yeah. So it became complex. Okay. It became complex and quite wild for us.
All right.
But we survived.
I see.
We survived.
Yeah. I read somewhere that like that was like the toughest moment when the business even went down, like 2019, 2020 COVID area. What would you say? Is it just because of COVID, or like what would you say were some of the things that caused those challenges that you've not already mentioned? So
Andy went to Rwanda. Andy was in Rwanda, so it was just left with me here. Now I remember COVID time. We only had one gig, and even that was not even in May. So May 2020, we only had one gig, received one gig, and then that wasn't even for recruitment or HR. That was for website development.
Oh, okay.
And then so prior to that too, see, that was one of the things too. I focused my time on learning the tech instead of delivering the core services we were out there to do. Because at that point, I felt like when we built a product, I mean the tech product, it was going to revolutionize our business. That was the belief the belief I had. And then that was also at the time that there was a startup boom across the world. Everybody was trying to build a startup, you know.
Okay.
So and then coming from a background whereby I had little to no technology,
Yeah.
it was quite interesting. It was quite tough for me. So I had to learn everything. I couldn't afford developers,
Okay.
so we had to do everything.
So
ourselves.
when you say you learned tech, you started coding.
Yeah. So I at the beginning I wanted to learn coding.
Okay.
I started coding at the point, but eventually I gave up.
Wow.
So I realized, look, I can't code and then still engage, still be doing, because coding takes time and a lot of focus. So at the point I was learning React. I did, yeah,
Okay.
the language, the programming
okay.
language, yeah.
Oh wow.
And then I learned Figma, UI UX,
Okay.
so I could use Figma to do the prototyping and everything. By the time I just gave up on those things. And then I also learned a little bit of the cloud management systems, just basics to be able to hold my company. But with time I realized, look, I can't do that. It wasn't my passion.
Okay.
You get it. So eventually I had to get somebody on board to do that for us.
Okay.
Then yeah, so basically that was regards to the tech. That was it.
At, let me say, maybe somewhere 2020, you were not really focusing on the business side.
No. It was more.
So like sales, I'm sure sales
went down. So yeah, so talk about that. We had just one gig. I was saying in May, we just had one gig. Which brought us 500 cities.
Oh my goodness. 500
cities. I had to pay rent, electricity, staff. We had a cleaner. I had a staff.
Okay. So you were like how many at the time?
Oh, so corporate, I made everybody go. Back then we were just 3.
Okay.
And then I made it 2 people go. So Andy, myself, we were 4. Sorry. So Andy, myself, and then 2 people. And then I made everybody go. So I was just left with myself. Andy was in Rwanda. So I got an intern. After the COVID, I got an intern who came to join us. She was in the University of Ghana. And then one of my ex-girlfriends back then offered to help.
Oh wow.
It wasn't wow. It wasn't wow. Trust me. So when she said help, I was thinking, okay. I told her of the challenges we were having, and then how I was going to do things myself. But she kind of like believed in me, and then offered to help because she was also home idle.
Okay.
And then she came. We just got one gig, got 500 cities. How are we going to share this 500 cities, man? So paid. The most important thing was rent. So we paid the rent. It was left at 200. Okay. I managed to get some money topped up, give it to her. She didn't find that money enough, so she resigned.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So I got some 200.
Then you had like an office.
Yeah. So we managed to get an office.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Managed to get an office, and then
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I gave her 400. She thought it wasn't enough. She left. Never looked back.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wait, 400 out of the 500.
So I managed to get something extra.
Okay.
Yeah, I had to take some loans and then.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Wow! Okay. So now after 2020, after all those challenges, how did you pick up the business again and then started flourishing? So
it was for me. I've never been. I would say I've never been a quitter. All right, and then mostly anybody that has known me knows that when I believe in something, unless it's you, like, I mean, when I believe in a person or an idea or a concept, unless I'm proving beyond reasonable doubt that it's not going to work. Because I believe in evolving, I believe in changing, I believe in pivoting.
Okay.
So unless you prove to me with everything, all your facts, data, I have to believe in it to believe it's not going to work. And then also I had read, and then I've seen a lot of bigger guys who were within the same space who had made it. So if somebody had made it,
okay,
irrespective of what they had to do to make it, that means there is a way.
Okay.
You get what I mean?
Okay.
So I told myself, you just have to take your time. You're also going to find a way to get to the place you want to go.
I see.
Yeah.
All right. So that's the belief.
That was the belief. So that was what kept us moving and moving and moving and moving.
But I mean, like, if you reach a point in your business where, like, maybe you are struggling to get gigs, COVID is even here, you know, people are laying off workers and all, and you are supposed to, like, help these people recruit workers.
Trust me.
Wow.
You need. Oh, that's not even been. That's even one of some of the minute stuff we've been through. But that was also a challenge. Trust me, it's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough. I always say it's only God, my pillow, God and my pillow. That knows what I go through every day. You get
Wow.
it? It's tough. Trust me, it's tough. You know, even telling yourself you're gonna make it, knowing with the data showing you're not gonna make it.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? So it's quite tough. And then also you don't want to risk anybody's life to say, oh, come and join me, let's build a company. When you yourself are doubting based on the data that it's going to work.
Yeah.
So I was skeptical about hiring people. And it was tough, but you just have to believe in yourself.
Okay. So yeah, but the belief is there, but the data, as you said, was not really working. So how did it go from there to turning it around?
So
because I know from 2020 to 2021 is like 1 year.
Yeah.
And that was when the
Things
article
got
I read
stable,
was published, and
so
you started making it. So
I think somewhere September.
Okay.
Somewhere, let me say July, August, thereabout. We moved here September 2020.
Okay.
So somewhere July, August, we got a request to meet here, let me say, well, she was more like a partner.
Okay.
But she's the person who rented the space and then we are renting from her. So we met her here for a web development gig, and then so then I was with Michael. Michael works with a different company now. He was an intern that joined us. Okay. And then Michael also believed, upon hearing the story, I mean, always updating them on what we want to do, the ideas, the concept. Michael kind of believed in me that I also didn't want to let him down.
Okay.
You get it?
Okay.
So there was this drive to push forward no matter what. So we came here, we took the contract, we asked them. There were just 2 people here, but the company was, I think, the company was also having a downturn. Then I asked them, if we could rent the place. All right, we didn't have the money. Wow. It was just a gas decision.
Wow.
Yeah. And then she was like, oh, how much? So we came back and we gave them what we had, what we were thinking. And that was like about 500% more than what we were paying that we couldn't even pay.
Wait.
Yeah, so the bill they gave us, the bill we proposed was even more than what we were paying that we couldn't pay. And then I was saying that, so Michael was the first person that said, oh, Frank, if you can afford, let's rent this place. And then I proposed the money was small compared to what they were paying, right? And then, so there's the Miss Ivy, she's Miss Ivy Lawson. So Miss Ivy agreed, we made a proposal, she agreed, and now I had to go and look for the money. So luckily, we agreed on a monthly payment plan.
Okay.
Miss Ivy. And then, friends, colleagues, so we got the money. So I tried to raise about 3 times the rent, 3 months rent, keep it around. So when we moved there, it was a do or die affair. All right. So I remember sometimes I had to stay in the office for like a month. Yeah. It was a do or die affair.
Okay.
Now we moved in here. Michael was here, so it was myself and Michael. We had to hire one person right from service. So I think we were paying Leah, I think around 700 or so.
Okay.
She was right after service. So I spoke to Leah, actually spoke to her. She made her understand, look, we're a small company. We didn't have the money, right? We're barely trying to survive. Yeah. And then she agreed to do it. But when she gets a good job, she's going to leave. Okay. So she agreed. We started. She was good too. Leah was a good girl.
I see.
So
it was a do
or die affair.
That's really incredible because one thing I've come to learn is that people who make it, it gets to a point where you decide that okay, you have to put everything. Yeah, this is not a side hustle. Yeah, this is my life. I'm putting everything on it.
It wasn't just my life, my family's life, my dependents' life. Andy was here. We had to pay Andy, and because we couldn't meet the milestones too, we couldn't request for more money from the investor. So now it was just a do or die affair.
Okay, so what now made it start booming?
Yeah. So our first big gig was it was actually a small gig, but we eventually pushed it. Okay. So we got a client that requested for about 20 people and wanted us to outsource the people to him. Okay. So it paid us something small, and then we managed that. Then later, that was in December. Then later, the following year, I think at the end of December, I was home and I got a message from somebody on LinkedIn had made a referral.
Okay.
Somebody I'd never met.
Wow.
Yeah, Albert. In fact, till today we've never met.
I see.
But that guy saved my business.
Wow.
Albert Nina, yeah. Till today we've never met. So that's interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So does it mean you were sharing the journey on social media?
Yeah. So I used to update on social media a lot. And you know, because it was a do or die affair. And then another thing too was we also had some, despite the financial challenges, there were some progresses.
Okay.
You get it. We were getting more visitors on our platforms. We had a website where people could apply for jobs. We were getting more visitors, more job applicants. We had a nicer office.
Okay.
Yeah, we had a nicer, bigger office in town. So despite the money, there were some progresses that motivated us. Look, if we could continue, maybe the money is going to be better. Okay. You get what I mean. So, and also mostly I always say once there's one or two progresses, all right, you can always find a way to make the others work. Right. So yeah, Albert's recommended me on social media. Yeah. And then so the guy, it's a foreign company, so they reached out. They gave us a gig to manage their salespeople. Okay. Outsource and manage their salespeople. So we did that. They liked the way I was quite involved in the management. I was always there. All right. Already, moreover, it was a do or die affair for me. So nobody was going to mess up what I was going to do. Yeah. So I was always there. I was making sure everybody was working, everybody was on time. I didn't want them to complain because there's so many companies like us. So they had options. So, and if I mess up, they're going to leave. Yeah. Yeah. So I gave them one of the best deals. I was always there. Any of my early employees would remember. They were like, and they are still one of the companies on my heart. Okay. Right. They pay us, I mean, some of the least amounts we receive now. Okay. But they're one of the companies on my heart. Wow. And I moved beyond the HR work with them, whereby I was involved in handling or solving some of their main company challenges. Wow. I saw that once their company survives, my company survives. Yeah. And then my company is dependent on them to survive. That's powerful. That's powerful. So I think that's one thing that we have to start thinking about, like thinking of the clients, your client's interest as well. Because it's a win-win. So exactly. Exactly. Wow, interesting. Exactly. Okay. So that is how you started getting clients here. And so from there, I used them as a referral. So from sales, they kept adding departments on departments on departments, and then the more the number of people, the more the payments was. So now then the more income we got. So I think that was where got us stable, and then I used our business with them as a referral to engage other organizations. Oh wow! So then we started getting other organizations. So like, how does that work? So you go to a new organization, and I tell you, okay, we manage, let's say, about 100 people from this company. I show you the data. So you can see we have about 100 people on our business, and then I'll then convince you to. You can also start with 5, or maybe if you have some staff that are giving you a problem, let us handle that for you. So most of them started offloading their problems onto us. I see. Yes, and then we engaged them. And another thing too was I had a strict and cordial personality, whereby I'm very cordial with every employee that has been under my company. Extremely cordial, very friendly, but also very strict. We can chat, we can play football, we can talk about everything, but you know if you do anything that's going to affect my business, you're dead. Yeah. You get what I mean? Yeah. So everybody kind of respected that. Okay. And some of the people that we thought they were problematic because became quite nice actually with time. I mean, they know, okay, Frank is nice. I'll try to help you. I'll negotiate on your behalf with management. What you want, probably maybe your wife has given birth. You need some small money. I develop personal relationships with some of the companies we're working with. Okay. So it's easier to work with them and say, oh bro, Charlie, your boy, his wife has given birth. You go figure some 1,000 give out. Okay. So it wasn't that strictly formal. Okay. And then most of them could read. You know, we are human beings. You get it. So it saved it. Yeah. Okay. So when you say like you are managing the let's say 100 people, how does that really work? Because you are not on site with the people doing the work itself. So how are you managing, how is a third party managing employees for a business owner? Yeah, so majority, I also focus on my market was Asian companies. Yes. Okay. Now, the Asian companies had, their management style was different from our local Ghanaian, the way as we Ghanaians understand stuff. And then they were more work, get paid, that's it. The Europeans are more into mental health, welfare, employee well-being, most of the Asian companies were not focused on that. You get it? So I focused on the Asian companies to get more Asian companies, and them majority they had employment. They had problems with. They mostly had the problems with managing employees because Ghanaians want to be treated well, and then they had just we are here to work, so just work.
Okay.
That was the working culture.
Okay.
So now I had to come in and bridge the gap.
Okay.
So now I became more or less like their point of reference to
Okay.
those employees.
Okay.
So now mostly what I do is I appoint somebody among the employees who supervises them and then
Okay.
reports to me directly
Okay.
or reports to the Chinese person directly.
Okay.
So this person updates me on whenever something goes wrong, whenever something has to be done on something. And those people were like, they were first, they won't call me and I will not pick. You get what I mean? So anytime I receive a call, I know then they are agents.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we just had to delegate and then make sure.
I see. Interesting. Let's come to right now.
Yeah.
Right? So that was how it all started. So right now, I know you manage like so many companies. The last figure I saw was around 2021 still, but I saw like 50 companies.
Yeah.
So how is the business now?
So with time, it was tough, especially with regards to payments. I mean, excuse me, say the Ghanaian payments from the Ghanaian companies was hell. It was tough. I mean, compared to the foreign companies. So with time, we had to cut, and then we had to cut the Ghanaian companies off. So I mean, we just worked with a few Ghanaian companies, Ghanaian-owned companies. And then most of the Ghanaian companies we had were small companies.
Okay.
We had a couple of Asian companies. Let me use Asian. Yeah. But we're mostly Chinese, Indian, Lebanese companies.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but we had a lot of Ghanaian companies. So we cut off the Ghanaian companies just to focus on the Asian companies because they were going to pay on time. They didn't have problem with salaries, and all this stuff. So,
I see.
Basically, it was the Asian companies. If I've answered your question.
But why Asia though? Why
the European companies were quite difficult to get.
Okay.
You get it? They had there was a lot of bureaucracy before you get to the manager. Mostly their even management is in Europe or somewhere else in Africa.
Okay.
And then before it gets to them, you may have to pitch. You know, we're a very small firm. We had little track record. We didn't have a lot of big companies to showcase for.
Okay.
So they were focused. There was something I wished. We tried to reach out a couple, but as at then, we didn't get any.
I see.
So it was later we got one, and then we use this as an advantage, as leverage.
Okay.
We set a very big company in the world, and then they hired I think they hired 2 people or something, 2 or 1 or something. They made 2 requests, they hired 1.
I see.
And then we use that leverage because we sign an agreement with your company. So no matter what, we have a partnership with you, irrespective of the numbers we deal with you.
Yeah.
So we use that as leverage
to
get on board other organizations. And we got a couple of European companies to come on board just because we're working with that company.
I see. So now you are multinational. Right.
So multinational started with, we were in Rwanda because of Andy.
Yeah.
Just for the student internship.
Okay.
And then with time we got a client somewhere in 2022. We got a client that was already multinational, a European client that was already multinational and then wanted to expand their presence in a couple of other African countries. So we started with them. We piloted Senegal with them.
Okay.
And then it was good. Whilst doing that, we got a couple of requests from other organizations. And then we kept trying. Wow. So eventually we registered currently we are in 5 countries ourselves.
Okay.
So
Wekplace is staff?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Wekplace is registered in 5 countries. We're in current Ghana, Togo, we're in Senegal, we're in Sierra Leone, and then Rwanda.
Oh, wow.
And then we have strategic partners in, so in Africa, we are focused on Africa for now. So in Africa, we have strategic partners in Morocco, and then Cameroon and South Africa. We have kind of also a strategic partner in Mauritius, but we don't have any business there. Okay. But the other countries, we have minute business.
I see.
And then we also have a strategic partner in Lebanon. Currently, we are working on a strategic partner in Asia major. That's Malaysia, Singapore.
Wow.
Yeah, we have a partner that's present in those countries that we're currently working on.
It's been 2019 is like 5 years.
About 5 years, yeah.
So 5 years into business, you are in 5 companies, registered in 5 countries with strategic partners all over. How does that make you feel looking at the growth so far?
It's complex, scary, and good.
Really?
Yes. So so we made so many mistakes.
Okay.
especially with the expansion. So many, so many. Then
Wow.
these are mistakes I would admit that were huge mistakes, scary mistakes.
I see.
Yeah. And then also,
Can you tell us one?
okay, so I remember even when we moved to Senegal, Dakar, we didn't have business in Dakar.
Okay.
And it was quite urgent that we had to work on the registration in Dakar. So we had a friend there who promised us, oh, we could get our registration within 2 weeks, set up everything, and then we get it done running, and it was okay. Eventually, I had to travel there myself. It took a long time.
Okay.
I didn't understand French. I remember even my first travel. I didn't understand French. I went there, got there for them to tell me I didn't come with my criminal record certificate in Ghana.
Oh wow.
So I had to fly back here.
Wow.
For one sheet of paper.
Wow.
So you can imagine the cost of traveling back here.
Wow.
Get one sheet of paper, go back to submit that.
My goodness.
And then so we did that. Eventually I realized my friend couldn't help, so I had to do it myself.
Wow.
We got a company, they charged us, but they were not pushing like the way I wanted to push and the way my clients was requesting for that. So I had to be there. I had to juggle between Ghana, Dakar. I remember even my first trip, I had to sleep on the floor in Abidjan.
Wow.
I almost missed my flight. Luckily, I got to Abidjan. I couldn't speak the French, so I didn't want to go rent a hotel. So I saw the airport cleaners sleeping on some cardboard. I was feeling sleepy. I was tired. I was like,
wow.
Bro, cut. And then you said it in French, like cut or something. I was like, yeah, can you give me one? Managed to understand me, brought me a cardboard.
Wow.
You know cardboard, what they use in packaging biscuits and this stuff, yeah. So just put it in the ground, put my laptop bag there, slept, woke up. My flight was at 10 a.m. So by 6 something I was awake. They had some small space. I joined them, sleep there. And then this is somebody I had a king size bed at home, man. So
wow.
I sleep there, and then you ask yourself, why am I doing this? Because the business is not even guaranteed.
Yeah.
You get it? And then too much risk. What if something happens to me here? My cash there was limited. There were so many things that were not sitting well with me, but you had to do it anyway. It had to be done. For survival, it had to be done.
Wow. I see. So now, in total, what would you say is the number of clients that you have? Companies that you are working with?
So in Ghana we have about 5 major clients, but we keep getting smaller and then bigger clients. But we have 5 major clients working in Ghana, not much. And then the other countries maybe 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So let's approximate everything to be like 15.
Okay.
Yeah.
Major
companies that we work with.
Okay. Yeah. And I also read somewhere that you had more than 100 outsourced staff.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah. So as it stands now, I think we should hit about 200.
200.
Yeah. We've had more, then they drop, and then maybe something goes wrong with the company, they pull out, and then not necessarily pull up. I mean, they cut the number of employees.
Okay.
So most employees don't like being outsourced to another agency. Yeah, you get it. So sometimes it doesn't go well. Okay, then they sit down with the employees, they have an agreement, and then they take a different plan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we've had more. Sometimes it has to reduce, and then sometimes challenges we are not really experienced in some space, so we have to now withdraw.
Okay.
Yeah. And then it keeps going on down. So, but as it stands now, I think we should hit over 12.
I see.
Roughly around 12.
Wow, that's massive. Tell me about the tech side of your business, because I know you don't just only outsource people for clients, you also have a software. What does that do? So
we developed an internal software for employee management. We wanted to, back then it was supposed to be a general product whereby everybody could use.
Okay.
But with time, we got a different concept. Maybe another day we'll discuss that idea.
Really? I see.
Yeah. So with time, we got a different concept that made us pull our software from the market. So we decided to build our system in-house. So it's basically it's more or less like an ERP currently. So when we onboard a company, we sign you on, then we'll load all your employees in the system. Okay. And then we use that to manage their payrolls, their systems. Now it's a system that can be used publicly. Okay. But we have a concept we are trying to add on. Okay. What I believe can be a revolutionary product. Definitely when we start, other people are going to see what we're doing. They also pick on it. It scales up. And I think it's something that would change the market as we see it. Yes. So that's currently something we're working on. Wow. Unfortunately for us, we started with an in-house tech team. Okay. But we couldn't. So to be frank, we had to let them go. Oh, yeah. So we outsourced our product development to India. So we have a software company in India that we work with currently. Okay.
Okay.
So they develop our product and systems for us,
Okay.
and then we use in-house. Yeah.
Okay. All
But
right.
I'm sure somewhere early next year, first quarter next year, we can roll out a product, and I'm sure you're gonna like it.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it will be public.
Yeah, to be public, yeah,
Wow.
for everybody to be able to use.
Wow. That
yeah.
that would be amazing. I
Yeah,
can't wait for
yeah.
that.
It's gonna be nice actually.
I
Trust me on
see.
that.
Okay. Can you give me maybe something to give me
Uh,
suspense?
so it's a financial employment product.
Okay.
So it has to do with employment and finance.
Okay.
You get it, and then it's something that is with good strategic development and good strategic implementation. I think it's something that is gonna ease the way we purchase stuff as employees in the country.
Wow.
Yeah, it's gonna ease the way we get hired.
Okay.
And also gonna ease the way we get paid and purchase stuff.
Wow.
in the country.
Okay. All right. So somewhere 2021, as I mentioned earlier, I saw somewhere that you're already making $10,000.
Yeah. Oh, just two companies was giving us. I think back then the dollar was around 6 CDs or so.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was oh, just even one company was beating more than that.
Wow.
We even reduced it.
Wow.
Yeah.
If that is the case, then I'm sure by now, 4 years later,
that's not always the case.
It should be.
No, that's not always the case. But even with 2022, somewhere 2020, I remember even one of our clients, we were invoicing. That includes employee salaries though, but we were invoicing around $80,000 somewhere in 2022. Yeah, we at a point we invoiced around. That's the biggest invoice we've sent out
per month.
A month, yeah. And but that includes employee salaries.
Okay.
That our commissions and everything will, let's say, would hit around like 12, 15, thereabout.
Wow. Wow.
Now, but also don't forget, you also have employees, you have bills and other stuff to pay. Yeah, get it. And then don't forget also, Ghana was financing other countries too as well.
Yeah.
And then always the money comes in, it has to go somewhere else because you're always thinking about bigger ways that you can execute the stuff. So the money, no matter the money that counts, it's never enough.
Okay.
To execute whatever you want to do. Actually, to be frank. And then it's only enough to do some of the basic things you want to do. But setting up in another country alone can be hell.
I see. Yeah. I can imagine.
And then so I think those were some of the things that held us with time and kept us growing.
I see. I see. Yeah. So looking at, I mean, there was a time where you were even struggling to like secure an office and all. Yeah. And now here we are. You know.
Yeah. So
being an entrepreneur must be good.
No, it's not something I regret.
Okay.
You get it? I mean, it's not something I regret because most of the things I've been able to achieve, I don't think I would have been able to do that in a private firm if I was working in a private company.
Okay. So, yeah. That brings me to something you posted on LinkedIn in 2022.
Okay.
Let me read some portion of it. You said, "Don't quit your job. People don't always achieve success through entrepreneurship. What you see on social media is only the nice parts, but frankly speaking, most local entrepreneurs and business leaders are suffering within, including me. But now you don't regret it, so maybe we should quit our jobs and do that."
No. So let me give you an idea. Let me just take you through, and anybody watching. I mean, this is the part I would even like you to highlight the more.
Okay.
So you start your business, right? You have to register. So limit about 1,000, 1,500 registrar general. Now you need an accountant primary, because if you don't get a serious accountant that understand your basic tax system, you pile up plenty tax that you'd have to pay in the future. Trust me on that. So imagine you have to get an accountant, even with a regular person, an average, even let's say you're doing now, right? An average person you pay not less than 2,000 if you want a good person that's on a monthly basis. Unless you outsource to a company, then it can come down a little bit down for you. Now, your business, don't forget, you are now starting, right? You may have the customers, you may be doing it small a little bit, like I told you. When it was a hustle, we didn't have to pay tax, we didn't have to pay anybody. It was just our money. Now, you organize it. You have to pay this, you go to GRA, they tell you, okay, I estimate at the end of the year, you're going to be making this, so you have to pay this in CIT, and then you don't even know what at the end of the year you're going to make, but GRA says you have to pay this, and that's the law, you have to pay that.
Wow.
Now look at the taxes you have to pay. You have to pay CIT, about 25% on your profit at the end of the year.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. You're paying VAT. That's about 21% of your income. 22% when you do the calculation. If you have employees, you have to pay their SNIT and then the PAYE. Now the municipal assembly levy, if they catch you, you have to pay that.
Wow.
There are so many minute payments that has to be done.
Wow.
When you decide to start a business, like a proper business. Don't forget you have to build your website. You have to get an online social media presence. If you're not good with that, you have to hire somebody else be doing those things for you. And that has not even affected your income. Your income has not even come yet.
It's true.
You get what I mean? And then these are payments. These are recurring payments.
Yeah.
It's not one time.
Yeah.
You get it? They're payments that have to be ongoing. You have your rent. Now, your rent, when you're in a good space, the law says pay 15% property tax on that, or rent tax or something. The accountants that can give it exact. I think 10 to 15%, I forgot the exact amount. Now, you have to be paying that to the government too as well.
Wow.
You have to pay your rent. Your landlord or landlady doesn't care whether you're making income or not. You have to pay. If you have 2 or 3 employees, you have to pay them.
Wow.
Even if you have yourself, you have to pay yourself.
Yeah.
You don't forget your family is going to come on you, bruh.
Because you're running your own.
You're running your own company, man.
Wow.
You get it? So there are so many things most people don't take into consideration before doing that.
Okay.
Most people think, okay, maybe I think I have the talent, let me start a business.
Yeah.
Then they start it. Then when the reality comes in, hey.
Okay.
And then don't forget, some people to start with other people's money. They go borrow money from their friends and family. They start, reality sets in. People are not purchasing your product like they're supposed to. And then it becomes a problem. Most people don't take those factors into consideration before starting a business. And you are not even sure if your business is going to succeed or not.
Yeah.
Trust me. I've known people that had serious money. Let me give you one example.
Okay.
I think some time ago I read somewhere, OMG Digital, I'm sure you may have come across them, Peter Sheldon's former company.
Yeah.
They raised, I think, $1.2 or $1.4 million.
Okay.
But that company is not really in active operations like they used to. You get it? That shows business is not easy. They had about 1.2, 1.4 in their war chest. There are a couple, I've met and I've known people who had serious investments, serious money, and then the companies are not operating currently. And there are a lot of stories even online.
I see.
And it's not that probably they did something wrong or it's their fault or something is chasing them or some spirit. That is business.
Wow.
You get it? You're not guaranteed of anything. You can get a lawsuit tomorrow. I can see where you may got a lawsuit and collapse his business or it's minimize his business. He was a very successful man. You get it? And just within one day, within one lawsuit, everything shuts down. You get what I mean?
Well, but,
so
it's true.
Yeah, I was saying you have to be prepared for it, and you have to be somebody that you can risk it all. You have to be somebody that can risk it all to be able to thrive in it. Okay. If you're not somebody that can risk it all and keep fighting, I'm sorry, it's not the best for you. I was reading a story about Elon Musk. This is the last one I would say around the space. Okay. I read a story about Elon Musk when he started SpaceX, and then at a point, he made so much money from selling Zip2. Then he went into Exit.com, that eventually became PayPal, and then sold it out, make quite some good money, and then started Tesla, SpaceX, and the companies he runs now. And then at the point, right, he lost all his money that he had gotten in SpaceX when 3 rockets failed to launch. Imagine investing $100 million in a rocket, and then it blasts on test. Charlie. So he lost at the point. If you look at his stories, he said the money left on him could run the office for 2 months, and then that was it. Wow. Yes. And he's the world's richest now. He could run the office for 2 months, but he kept on moving. Right? It didn't stop him. Kept on moving. He fought hard. He got a loan from, I think, the then Barack Obama government, which helps saving his business. Their next rocket, boom, caught fire, and they started getting some contracts. So yeah, basically you have to be ready to be able to go through the downs and ups and all. There's a mindset you will have to be ready for. But I think if you're able to do that, you won't regret it. No, you won't regret it. So the journey is fun. Okay. No matter the challenge you go through, after you come, the one thing I also believe is no condition is permanent. You get what I mean? So no matter the journey you go through, that's when you come out of it. When I look at some of the challenges I've faced back then, I look at my story in Abidjan today and I laugh. Wow. You get it? I look at some of the challenges I faced in Dakar. Imagine being in a country, you don't know the food they eat. Yeah. I just woke up. Let me tell you something. I just woke up one day. I was coming to work. I was in a bus. Okay. I wasn't driving. I was in a bus. I was coming to work. And then I said up today, after work, I'm going to Dakar. I see. I didn't know the food they eat. I only know it's a French country. Okay. I knew it was a majority Muslim country. I didn't know the language. I didn't know anything about their systems. I didn't even have a fair idea about where I was going to sleep. I see. You get it? I just pictured, okay, it's like Ghana. When I come out from the airport, I'll just find some hotel somewhere, lodge, take my time, call people, and then start thinking maybe I would find one or two people on the streets who speak. I think English was a common language, and everybody, at least I'll be able to find some few people on the street. Bro, no.
Wow.
Bro, no, it wasn't like that, man. So I got to Dakar my first day, and I realized the airport is about an hour drive from the main city.
I see.
Yes, I didn't have that knowledge.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, luckily, I spoke to a lady on the plane, and then she managed to help me. So after landing from the airport, I looked stranded. Then I spoke to her again. She was like, "Yeah." She knows. This is my first time. I was like, "Yeah. What am I doing here?" I was like, "Oh, I have a client. We're about to do business here." So I wanted to start saying, "Okay."
Wow.
Then she helped me get to the main city. Then she left me. So I found my way out to get a place.
Wow.
And then survive this. Not speaking the language, it's not
Interesting.
it's not something a lot of people would be willing to do.
I see. Okay, I get the point. All right. So let's talk about managing people. You are an expert in managing people. One thing that I found a lot of multinationals struggle with is working with Ghanaians or Africans. It's like our culture. I don't know if it's our culture or our mindset, but it's like the way in other countries or other continents they are work oriented. They want to get things done. You don't find that in this part of the world so much. How do you get these people, African employees, to buy into the vision, be hardworking, come on board with their resources, their energy, their time, and then get things done? What's the secret?
So I would say some part of Africa is more reserved.
Okay.
You get what I mean? Especially in our Ghanaian culture, especially we Ghanaians, we are quite, I'd say Ghanaians, a little bit of some Senegalese people, we're quite reserved.
Okay.
When you go to Nigeria, they are more active when it comes to work.
Okay.
But most African countries, especially West Africa, a couple of the ones I've been to, were quite reserved. That's where majority, and that's where I see that majority of the problem is. Now, and then also we want to be understood. I think that's a human nature, but it's become a culture, right? You want to be understood that, okay, I didn't do this because probably I was feeling this way, and then you have to understand me. But I didn't build the company for you to come and tell me you were not feeling this way, so you couldn't do it. It has to be done. At the end of the month, if I'm not able to pay your salary,
Exactly.
and I tell you I wasn't feeling right, so I couldn't go to the bank to pay salary. You're not going to understand that.
Sure.
You get what I mean? So I think majority of our African markets especially West Africa, were reserved, and then also our education system doesn't turn out to be the best.
Okay.
Education system doesn't turn out to be the best.
It doesn't train people for
for the industry. So mostly somebody finishes even their service, they still have to undergo serious training, or the companies have to invest a lot in them before they're able to pick up within a space. Ideally, if you should have 4 years experience in something or training in something, you should be a champion of that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's true.
Yes, but
you don't find that.
We don't find that.
So as an employer, how do you get these people and how do you make them get results for you?
So you see, out of every 100 people, you find 5 good people.
Wow.
So you look out for that 5. That's the truth, actually.
I see.
Out of every probably 100, you find some 5 good people. So you just see till you get those 5 people,
Wow.
10 people. It's very disappointing. Let me be frank with you. I remember
he's called Frank, by the way. So whenever he says he wants to
sounds
be Frank, you're already Frank.
So I remember when we adopted a new applicant tracking system that was more viral than what we had built. Our first job post, we got over, I think, 400 applications. That was our first job. There are times where we've gotten over 1,000 applications for one vacancy.
Really?
And they are hiring just one person.
One person, 1,000?
About 1,000 applications.
That's serious?
Yeah. We are hiring just one person. You can imagine. It was complex.
So, like, you have to sift through?
You have to sift through 400 CVs to find out which one is the best. Let me share an experience with you. This is why we let our team go. So we had a gig. And then we engaged our local developers, and then it was costing me more, but within 4 months into the gig, we had developed less than 10%, and we promised the clients we would deliver and finish everything within 3 months. 4 months, less than 10%.
Wow.
Yes. So that was part of the reasons I just cut off my team, the tech team. I just kept a few people on, let me say, as and when we need them, we would engage them, and then outsource it to India. Within a month, the product was developed.
Wow.
For way cheaper, like half of the price, half of the money I've spent. Probably even not up to a half. About probably 1/3 or 1/5 of it, of the money I had spent.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
What are we doing? What?
So it's imagine. Let me give you an example. So this particular gig, we charged the client close to about 100,000 series. I'd spent about 45,000 in salaries, and then I got the Indians to develop it for me. I think around 18,000. That 18,000 series included post development, maintenance, and updates.
I see.
We were going to do this stuff. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. But I already paid $45,000, 45,000 CD, sorry,
To
to
Ghanaians.
Ghanaian developers,
And 10% of the work was done.
yeah, that's less than 10%. We had just
we
done
have
the
to change.
schema and then the database schema, the database. I think it was just a schema. Then we had the timelines in Jira, and then it was just a few stuff. Then one of the developers was good. He had done the UI UX and was currently working on the prototyping for it. But we had done little to no work.
So what it means is that if you are here and then you decide to be very skilled and proficient, the opportunities that will come your way are
is a lot. We've engaged companies. See, we've engaged companies that hired Ghanaians, and then eventually they were not getting the quality they wanted. So eventually we hired some of our colleagues from we outsourced the gig to our other countries, and then they are still working with them.
Wow.
So I think it's difficult. It's very difficult. But I think from my personal opinion, I think a lot will have to do with the way we think as a collective society. You get what I mean? We are more reserved, like I mentioned, even including myself. We are more reserved. Because I see people in other countries that are doing similar stuff, and then they're doing amazing, and I'm like, why can't I be doing this?
Yeah.
But I get home, I feel like, oh, today I'm tired. Let me rest. You get what I mean? Yes.
It's fundamental, or maybe it's the food we eat.
Probably.
But we have to find what it is, because
Probably.
if we are going to thrive as a continent, I think these are some of the things we have to look at.
So we did a research some time ago, and then the outcome was blaming the employers.
Okay.
Yeah. So most of the employees, we surveyed a group, like a number of employees, and then most of the outcome was technically the problem was coming from the employer. So the supervision was not there. I think majority was supervision, and then I would have to look at it. That was somewhere in 2021 or something.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. Wow.
But technically, at the end of the results, it was basically saying if the employers were focused more on the employees, probably there could be better productivity. But I don't think most of the employers are not focusing. Sometimes you can try, but it doesn't get anywhere.
So let's talk about, I think this will be the last thing we'll discuss. Talk about Africa, as in like how young people in Africa see that, okay, opportunities are abroad. You are a young African, you are here, you finish school, you are here, you built your business, you have employees, you have branches in 5 countries. Why do you think the average African is focused on seeking greener pastures abroad? What are we
let me
missing?
tell you this. There's money in Africa. All right. Now, I've had opportunities to travel throughout a couple of African countries. I've been to Europe. I've not been to the US. But I've always been skeptical about moving permanently outside. Right? Especially even to the US, permanently. Now,
why is that though?
The challenge is if you move there, you have to start from scratch, and then you have to do smaller jobs. You're going to get some money. Compared to what you would have been getting here if you were working, it looks quite bigger. With a city depreciation and all. But let me give you one example. So at a point, one of our clients was paying us. We had some employees that were paying them around $2,000. In Ghana here. So they were working for a company in Europe. Right? We had a European partner who hired employees here. And then, so they pay us, we pay them. They were paying them around $2,000 here.
Wait, as an entity or per person?
No, per person.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So imagine you're earning $2,000 in Ghana here.
Yeah, exactly.
At the age of, let's say, 28, 27.
Yeah. With a CD rate of like 16 CDs now.
That's not bad.
That's
Because even earning $2,000 in US is quite stable. It's quite okay. How much more earning $2,000 here? And don't forget, in US, probably you'd have to pay your rent, which would probably be around $500, $600, or probably more, depending on where you are. Your haircut alone can be like $40, $50. That's like absurd in Ghana here. You get it? So if you consider a couple of the expenses, the margin, if you look at the margins you have to spend, I'd rather prefer I can go to the US and come. We have a lot of rich men in Ghana who just go to the US and they go and come. They don't live there. And then you stay here.
They prefer to be here.
Get as much money as you can and then make it. That is my ideal thought. I don't know whether I'm wrong or right, but for me that is my thought. My fear is I may move to the US one day. I'm beginning to understand how the system works in Africa, how the system works in Ghana. I told you we had a point whereby we invoiced a client about $80,000 a month. You get it? So imagine we having 15% of that money. You know what I mean? Now that is coming into us. I'm a young entrepreneur. I'm 31 years. You get it? So if I move to the US, can I start a company? Or can I do something that would give me that level of experience or exposure, especially coming from an African background, attending an African school, which are not even recognized there. So my fears, would I be able to make that impact there? Or I'm just going to be washing dishes, doing something, at the end of the day I die, that's all, my life ends. You get it? So for me, it depends on your motive. For me, I want to live a life that at the end of the day, Frank will be remembered for something. You get it? Or Frank probably may have started an idea or something. Martin Luther didn't didn't end racism in America, but he created an idea that led to the reduction of racism in America. You get what I mean? So I want to be able to live a life that would impact people, right? Not the money would come if you're able to do it well. When I started, let me share an experience with you. I used to work here. I was telling somebody when we started at the very beginning, by the time things went so bad, sometimes I get to the station, I have to go through the trotro to see if I know somebody I know inside the bus, and I tell the person, Charlie, bro, I short you, go pay for me. That was that bad. I used to walk around there, look at buildings like this, office complexes, and say, Charlie, I wish one day I'll have my office inside, I'll have employees working around and all this stuff. There were dreams I wished. I never thought it was going to come this far. You get what I mean? So I believe that, let me be frank with you. I'm telling you today, we have 5 countries. We have 5 countries we are playing. Now, I never thought it was going to come this fast. So I believe that these are things we've been able to do. Maybe especially with the challenges we have, it's in the back of my mind that we've been able to come some far. So with some little efforts, we can go further. You get what I mean? So I think personally, if you focus on doing something great here, you can do it. Because see, there are Chinese people that are doing well. I have a Chinese client. He came to Ghana to do galamsey. He thought it was too risky. He stopped. He went to a bank. He got a loan, and he's raking in 4 million cedis a month.
What is he doing? Wow!
I'm serious. I'm serious, man.
With a business setup.
With a business here in Ghana. They've moved to Kenya. They've moved to Nigeria. I'm serious.
Look at that.
I'm serious.
And we are here saying there's no money.
Yes. He got a loan from here
to set up the business.
He got a loan from here. He started a business in Nsawam, not even Accra.
Wow.
Before moving to Accra, he first even moved to Amasaman or something. Before moving to Accra, you get it. Before, like, so and he's raking in 4 million.
Can you just give us a hint of the industry? At least the industry.
It has little to do with the industry. It has more to do with how you operate, how you think, how you're passionate about what you're doing, what you want to do. You get it.
Wow, that's amazing.
That's so amazing. I think there's the irrespective of the industry. Because let me be frank with you. I remember when I was in the agri space, right? There was this old woman who was selling raffia mat. I don't know if you know raffia mat. This mats, some people use it for ceiling to reduce the heat. It's some old, it's mostly in the Volta region. Some people sleep on it for babies.
I know.
I remember at a point when we were doing mushroom, the grow house. There was some small shop somewhere, and we went to buy raffia mat worth 7,000, and people were buying more. Some small old woman selling something.
I see.
And she was, imagine, we went to buy 7,000 cedis worth of raffia mat.
I see.
Just raffia mat.
I see.
You get it. So it has little to do with there are so many opportunities. It has little to do with the industry, but if you look at it, and sometimes I believe in prepare, luck comes, take advantage of the luck. And then one of my clients that helped us scale reached out to us when I even thought the mail was a scam. You get it? I told you we had an European client.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So he reached out to us when I told him it was his car, and that was a game changer for us.
I see.
You get what I mean?
I see.
So it's once you're prepared for it and it's out there, people may see you. If, like, excuse me to say, if your creator is on your side, I don't want to say God because probably some other people watching, maybe Muslims or
Okay.
whatever religion
Yeah.
you believe in. If your creator is on your side, whoever believe created you is on your side,
Or the universe.
You
As
get it?
atheists would
Yeah.
prefer to put it.
You're gonna get lucky and just take advantage of that luck or that opportunity that comes your way, and then you take it from there. And every single entrepreneur that was watching this video will tell you at the point they got lucky. You get it? There's luck or opportunities comes along the way.
Yeah.
And then once you're prepared, take advantage of it.
Yeah. And one thing I believe is that once you are working hard, you also have you will have the ability to even attract opportunities.
Exactly.
And you have eye to spot opportunities when you are on that journey. So it's like luck is planted along the way. Sometimes there was a time I give an analogy that it's like a game. There are some games that you are playing, you get to a certain part, then you discover a treasure.
Exactly.
Then you boost your points or something. Yeah, so that's how it is. If you don't embark on the journey, you are not focused on making an impact or doing something relevant. There will be those treasures hidden in places you never
know it.
Yeah.
You never I remember I have a friend. Let me shout out to Wisdom. Wigo. His company is Wigo Technologies.
Okay.
Yeah, Wigo. They have an app for delivery.
Okay.
I remember I made Wisdom came around. We had a discussion around his business. Pretty smart guy, one of the smartest young guys, man. And then I made a post on LinkedIn, and it helped fire his business with a single post.
I see.
You get it? So many opportunities came his way. Took advantage of the opportunities. People. He right now Wigo is big.
Wow.
He's currently in Nigeria. I think the last time we spoke, he's going to Ivory Coast. He's setting up in Ivory Coast. This is somebody that dropped out of University of Ghana to start a delivery business.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's
amazing.
You get it. So imagine he could have also stopped, probably traveled to Europe somewhere, be washing some dishes.
Yeah.
Wigo should have close to about 12 or 15 employees now.
Okay.
You get it. So there's somebody that just started. One day, I'm leaving school. I told him, bro, don't leave. He said, Frank, I'm leaving.
Wow.
In fact, he's left.
I see.
You get it. Got a friend to invest money. And right now he's big.
Wow.
I even go to you for advice now. Funny enough.
Wow.
Funny enough. So
that's
I think there are opportunities. I don't think Europe has all the opportunities, to be frank with you. It's not bad if you go to Europe. I wouldn't say but I still also believe that there are opportunities here.
Yeah. I mean, we have so many examples. You yourself, to be frank, is one example. So wow. And before we just leave, I would ask for your final words to my cherished viewers all around, especially the youth in Africa. On the final words to them.
Never give up.
Okay.
Never give up. Just eat, dream your business. The challenges can be there. The challenges can be crazy. Just live it. They're part of life. All right. For me, I see it as I don't have much to lose. When I lose, I'll tell myself I tried. You get what I mean? Some people have not tried at all.
Yeah.
You get
That's the real loss.
Yeah. So at least I tried. At least I did my best. All right. And I think I'll be forever happy even if I lose everything, that I did my best. And but interestingly, when you start business, you'd realize that no condition is permanent. Today you may be broke, tomorrow you may be rich, another time you may be broke again. Most of my business friends, entrepreneur friends, that's how their life has always been.
Okay.
Today they have money, tomorrow they are hidden somewhere, they don't want anybody to know. Next time they call me, Frank, let's go here. We meet, we hang out, chill, they pay for it. Another time they are in their zone, they are working on something. It happens to all of us, including myself. Sometimes I even travel out of Accra. You have your peace of mind. You focus 1 week or 2, you get whatever you want to do done. You come back, some basic things have been achieved. Nobody calls you, just have some peace, focus. So never give up. No matter the challenge, you can still come out of it. Irrespective of the challenge, you can still come out of it. And then minimize the risk.
Okay.
Yeah, not take too much risk. That would make you go crazy. Minimize the risk. But Africa has so much potential. And the last thing I would add is be borderless in your thinking. You get it?
The limit is in your mind.
The limit is in your mind. You get it? So just be borderless. And also as blacks, the whole of Africa is for grabs, right? You can't allow just the Chinese, the Indians, the Lebanese people to come and take majority from us and leave. The continent is for grabs. Whatever they are doing, I learned quite a lot from monitoring the Chinese people. Whatever they are doing, we can even do it more because we are blacks.
Yeah.
You get it? Now, we can take advantage. The continent is for grabs. You try to take as much as you want and then make an impact on people's lives.
Wow. That's powerful. That's a whole book right there. Thanks for joining us. I'm sure you had a great time because I had a great time too. And as we leave, remember to thrive in Africa because that's the only way we'll have a thriving Africa. Bye bye.
All right, follow Eqay Inspire on YouTube.
Did you hear that?